Alright, so we just got this in the mail today and I'm really excited about this. But obviously we need to do an unboxing video, so here we are. Anyways, this is the HB Toys R1000. I got the red one, this one, which is the R1002. There's obviously a blue one there, and then there's a yellow one too. As you can see, some of the specs here, obviously it's ready to run. So it's 2.4 gigahertz radio, can go up to 18 kilometers per hour. I believe that's on the second gear. Somewhat waterproofing and obviously 1/10 scale. Some more stuff in the box here. You basically get a battery, a USB charger, needs double A's for the remote, but it's not included. And yeah, there's the chassis right there. Anyways, that's it for the box, and let's go crack it open. Alright, so this is what you get in the box. Obviously the transmitter here. I mean, it looks kind of familiar, so some of you might not, might feel comfortable about this when using it. So for the instruction or manual, we have exploded views. So that's pretty neat. So you know, if you break something, you can see the part number and order it or whatever. So that's cool. And yeah, some setup instruction as well. Get a little bit of tools here. We have some wrenches, Allen wrenches, and a socket wrench here for the wheels, I guess. Is that? Yeah. And you have your USB balance charger. So okay, and then obviously the truck itself, and I believe the battery is inside. Oh, I got another one here. I guess it's the quick setup guide or something. Tells you about the ESC here as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, so there she is on a stand here, so we can spin it around nicely here. So let's peel it off and see how it looks. Oh man, I really like the body of this Beluga. You know, some people say it looks like a Ford Bronco, but obviously it's a Beluga. As per the images on the box there. Yeah, and in this red color, it really man, it looks really good. There's the paint sparkles, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, I think there's just a little bit smudge with here, but I don't think there's any scratches. But anyways, yeah. So some people say that, you know, it kind of looks like a Traxxas TX4, but obviously it's not a Traxxas TX4. There are some differences. For one thing, it has a roof rack or roof rail here. I believe the Traxxas TRX-4 Bronco doesn't have that. It has a snorkel here, so that's not different. Also, this one out of the box has lights, functioning lights. That thing is a separate kit that you have to buy and install. I believe it's somewhere $100 to $200. It's quite expensive, but you get here out of the box. At least those are some of the main differences you can see. Visually speaking, that is. There's also additional things that are different, but we can take a look at that later on as we get there. So apparently oh yeah, as you can see, there's no clips, body clips, so you have to like reach underneath here. It's my first time doing this, so okay, that's loose now. And then the back. Just be careful when removing the body, but because obviously there are wires connecting to the lights, so just don't just rip it off As you can see, it has some support around the Lexan body for rigidity, but obviously the mounting to make it clipless has that structure for that. And then you have the wires for the light just hanging out here, but there's a little bit cable management here, down here. Right, it's routed to the center here, and then obviously it goes there. So you don't really see it from the window unless you look from the top down. But yeah, so, and then obviously support for the rear spare tire as well. So that's pretty cool. And I think the spare tire, oh yeah, it's a full one. It's not like a fake. Is it even glued? I don't think it's glued. Oh no, it's actually glued. I can see some glue in there. But yeah. And then the nice thing about the painted body too is all, you have the red, and then underneath it you have the silver too. So it really gives that nice deep color, right? So that's nice. And then the more on the body, you can unfold and fold the mirrors, and then you have the fenders that are hard plastic, along with the door handles there. Yeah, so, and then for the top here you have non-functional windshield wipers. You can even move it, but yeah, at least it's nicely molded detail. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the body here. Now let's look at the chassis itself. So apparently this is like a unbranded Hobby Wing 1060, which is supposedly be a good beginner, like kind of ESC, brushed obviously, so you only have 2 wires. Oh yeah, there's the battery here. I like the fact that they use a strap, so it's more flexible when putting in different size batteries. This is lithium ion. It's only 3,000 milliamp hours. I can see why they use lithium ion. Lithium ions are a little bit more forgiving than lithium polymer, although obviously lipos are more powerful and lighter for the same capacity. But this is gonna work. It's good enough. And I like the fact that it's using standard Dean's plug or T plug, and obviously it comes with balance ports as well. So yeah, let's go closer here. So yeah, you got the ESC there. We have the transmission servo to change the gear from first to second, and vice versa, obviously. Yeah, you have the switch at the back here, and then on the side here you have the receiver combined with the controller for the lights. So apparently it's a 6-channel receiver, so that's pretty decent. And then you have the servo at the front here, stand up, obviously, but pointing upside down. And you have another place here to put maybe a battery. I don't think I have a battery that short, anyways. But yeah, so that's it. Apparently there's some issues with the motor being loose. I wonder if it's something that they have fixed. So I don't know if you can see it, but you should be able to hear it, like just doing that. So yeah, not ideal. But I have seen motor mounts for the TRX-4 that may fit this, so we're gonna have to test that out. I just need to measure the mounting points, the holes and stuff, just to make sure that it is compatible, because there are definitely some changes here. So one of the changes on the chassis that I know of is at the bottom here. In the TRX-4, this comes in 2 pieces. So that's one difference there. And apparently the wheelbase of this is a little bit shorter. Just a tiny bit, a few millimeters. So, which means there might be some differences on this side. So, you know, a skid plate for this part of the chassis may not fit. And already you can see that there are differences in patterns here. And then just less screws or screw holes on that part as well. So there's that differences. Now functionality wise, one thing that this is lacking, or maybe it's a good thing, is that it doesn't have remote locking diffs. Actually, I don't think you can even call them diffs because it's not. As you can see, these are not diffs at all. They are locked, right? So, I mean, off-road, obviously you don't really need diffs. Actually, they're somewhat of a detriment. But obviously, if you're, you know, tarmac or whatever, your turning radius will suffer because obviously that's what diffs are for. We have oil field shocks. Okay, I don't think it has oil inside. It doesn't feel like there's dampening in there. So it doesn't have oil inside. It's just very light oil, so it didn't seem like a lot of dampening. But yeah, so normally recommended to have light oils inside crawler shocks anyways. But anyways, one thing that does concern me is that pin right there. It's touching. It seems to be touching the edge, the body, shock body. But if we move it to the center, like so that's centered, right? Goes inside, go back up, and again, is back to the side again. So I'm not sure what to do then. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if it's going to be problematic if it's actually touching or not. Doesn't seem to be. I don't feel any kind of drag because nothing's pushing it, right? It's just, I don't know. But yeah, something to note that I didn't take apart the other shocks, so I'm not sure if that's a problem for the other shocks as well. I can only assume that they have the same kind of oil inside. So, anyways, just something to show you guys. So, yeah, the suspension links are metal. That's good. Parts of the drive shaft is plastic. Parts of it, actually, that's also some parts of it is metal. Like maybe the inside of it, I don't know. But yeah, like the coupling inside there looks like metal, but it's covered in plastic. Obviously the diff housing or axle housing are all plastic. It's supposed to have metal gears all inside, including in the transmission. Oh, another thing I wanted to say was that the plastic seems to be fairly soft on this, right? So, you know, which means the chassis can twist, which might not be such a bad thing for a crawler, right? Because it's kind of what you want. But it does have metal railing for the frame. Like there's 2 of them on one side. I don't know if you can see it, but this is metal. Actually, how do you? Oh yeah, yeah. And so it doesn't. I can't really bend it or bow it to make it the bottom sag or something like that. But anyways, yeah, it seems to be at least stiff in that sense. But yeah, since the connection between the 2 metal railings of the chassis is just plastic, you can twist it and stuff. So yeah, yeah. Anyways, on the front here you have a fake bumper. I mean, winch on the bumper. So that's pretty neat. All right, so I plugged in a LiPo battery here, and one thing to note that the tray is actually quite long, so you have this gap that's like a couple centimeters, or just about. So probably need some kind of spacer there, just so it doesn't like jostle around there. And yeah, but the other thing too is before we turn it on, we should definitely change the jumpers on the ESC here. So the first one is for, you know, reverse brake, I mean forward brake and stuff like that. So what we want is forward and reverse, so that we don't have a delay when we're going between forward and reverse. So yeah, that's one. Actually no, we actually don't need the jumper cable for that, for that option. Now we need to move the battery from NIM. I don't know why it's default to NIM. So we want LiPo, definitely. So definitely put that there. Yeah, and then we should be able to put on the body and check it out. All right, so that's with the lights on, or the car on. Actually, you know what, let's reduce the exposure here. So yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, so it actually has turn signals too. So if you go to the right, you can see it blinking there. To the, well, actually no, that was to the left. Now this is the right. There's also a high beam, so you can press the set button on the remote. So it does that. Yeah, and then same thing for the rear. So yeah, where is it? Okay, so the body wasn't fully on, so it looked sideways. Anyways, yeah, same thing. When you actually, it's very sensitive. You just probably 1/4 of a turn, it does it already. So that's pretty cool. And then when you're moving and then slam on the brakes or go in reverse, it has those lights as well. So that's pretty neat. If you press set, it doesn't do anything to the rear, just to the front. But yeah, it definitely looks pretty cool, just like that. Like that. Yeah, and so also just notice when you're turning, that's actually, the servo is actually pretty quick. I just don't know what the actual spec is though. But one thing I did notice is that there's no like, the servo goes way beyond the actual turning of the vehicle. So and the remote doesn't have any kind of EPA like endpoint adjustments. So yeah, you got to be careful when you're turning, because otherwise you might damage your servo at some point, because it's just trying to turn where it cannot turn any longer. So any further, I mean. Obviously, what you can do then is change the remote, or aside from, you know, not turning the wheel all the way, or you can probably use a different servo horn that has different holes on it. And yeah, so that might work. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, it's something I noticed. Yeah. And then obviously this is in low gear. This is in high gear. So it looks pretty fast, but obviously on the ground it's probably not going to be that fast. What else is there to do? Oh yeah, for the remote here, you see the steering trim the throttle trim, and then you have the lights control here. So yeah, press the light to turn off, once to have it blinking like this, and then solid, and it's kind of, you know, the behavior I showed earlier. And then you can press this button setup to turn on the high beams, and then again to turn it off. Yeah, I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but yeah. Anyways, let's remove it from the stand here, and let's see. I don't really have a way to measure it, but I just want to be. So it's, yeah, you can definitely flex all the way like this, and it's still touching. But that's pretty much the limit of it. Any higher than the other wheel is gonna start to lift. But that's pretty good. That's pretty nice, and it's not rubbing. Even if when you're turning the other way, then it might. You can see here. Over there. So when you're going straight, it's fine, but yeah, when you're turning, not so good. But yeah, well, it depends where you're turning. So this one obviously is fine because it's not touching anything else. But yeah, it's something to watch out for. All right, so I made a little course here. Let's get this started with. This one's actually a pretty steep incline, and it's able to climb it. And the drag brake is pretty strong, so if I let go of the trigger, yeah, it's not rolling down that quick. So alright, climb to that pillow. There's obstruction here. Let me zoom in a little bit there. Alright, so let's keep going. So this is the problem with not having diffs. The turning radius. Uh-oh, that's not good. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's also a steep incline, so you can modulate the ESC motor pretty well, even though it's a stock brushed one. Yeah, so that's it. You did it. Yeah, so you can see when it's making a sharp turn, it's kind of struggling or pushing because there's no dips. But obviously, you wouldn't be driving it in this kind of situation for most of the. So Nila, what do you think of that? You like it? No, you don't care. I think she's hungry again. Alright, so I have the Beluga sitting beside my old Tamiya TA05 right here, just to showcase the scale. And they're supposed to be about 1/10 scale, and this is either too big or that's too small. You know, having said that, it's close enough, but more importantly, they look really good, like really scale, and that's what I like. And this is why I always wanted to try out rock crawlers like this guy. But in Canada, the TRX-4, the Bronco one, is at least $700 Canadian. You know, you add a light kit, that's more than $800. You add a Traxxas, like a stronger Traxxas travel, plus maybe some beadlock wheels, like what we have here, and maybe some skid plates that we've installed. That's more than $1,000. On the other hand, this guy is just over $300 with taxes and shipping. So, yeah, you know, you can't go wrong with the Beluga, and you know, especially with what you're getting for the price. So it's hard not to recommend it. That said, I'll be obviously making more videos. Next one we're going to be installing this Beluga wheels. I don't have the tires yet. That'll come soon though. Also, I'm going to be running it outside, obviously, and I'll take a video of that. There's a lot of trails, and there's a river nearby. There's also a rock face near me, but it rains a lot in Vancouver, so I have to wait for a nice day to go out and drive this around. Anyways, hopefully you guys come back for that, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.